Welcome back to Call to the Home. Today we're continuing as the second episode in our series on survival cleaning. In today's episode, we're going to address laundry because, let's face it, if we are down for the count or in survival mode or have let the cleaning situation in our house get way out of hands, nothing is going to go smoothly if the people in our homes do not have clean clothes to wear. So let's talk today about laundry. I have for you several tips and suggestions that'll help you approach laundry in a managed and organized way in your home, whether yours is a small family or a large one. At the end, as I did in the first episode, I'll address now what to do if you are in dire straits. You can barely move from the bedroom in order to do anything in the house. How do we handle laundry in that situation? But first, let's talk about our day-to-day. Number one, in your household, you need to know how many people do you have, how much laundry do you generate in a day, and are there any people or clothing outfits that are not going to make it 2-3 days without me doing laundry? Let me just give an example so that that makes any kind of sense. In our house, we only have so many changes of clothes for specific functions. So many church outfits, so many work clothes, maybe, favorite skirt, favorite pair of pants for the men. If you don't have enough to make it more than X days without doing the laundry, this is your number. Our goal is to figure out how long can I go without doing laundry and to make sure we stay smaller than that number. In my household, we pretty much have to do laundry every day for 2 reasons. Number one, there's 7 of us. So every day, 7 changes of clothes, several towels, kitchen washcloths and rags are being dirtied. We usually generate enough laundry to do a complete load every single day, so that's what we do. However, when our household was smaller, when circumstances and schedules were a little different, we actually could get by with doing laundry once a week. So you have to know how many outfits does everybody have, can we make it? You do not want to ride that number. Because if you say, I have 4 outfits and then on day 5 I'll have no clothes to wear, and you always go, I'll just do laundry on day 4 and then day 5 I'm good, you're going to frequently put yourself in bad situations. So I would recommend if that's you, you've got 4 outfits, you should do laundry every second day, every other day. You will never then hit an issue where on day 5 you've got nothing to wear because you did laundry well before that. You always keep ahead. Don't let yourself fall behind. You want to rule over the laundry. Don't let it have dominion over you. Now, the next thing we want to consider once we've kind of got that ballpark number in our minds is how do we approach doing the laundry? How do we set up our room? What are some schedules and habits that we can establish so that the laundry gets done in an orderly way? We know what to expect, no surprises, and we're not dreading doing it on that daily or maybe semi-daily basis. So first, let me say, if your family size is small or you're having to do frequent loads, you don't actually have to separate your clothes by color. You don't have to pull the towels out. I know everybody's going to freak out that I just said that. It's going to be okay. Now, I will clarify that. If you have a favorite white skirt or white shirt and you're going to wear it, yes, eventually, continuously washing it with the other clothes is going to fade the brightness perhaps of that white. If you line dry it outside, actually not a problem, so there's that. But to be honest, in practice, we don't separate any of our clothes. We don't separate any of our towels ever, and everything comes out just fine. Once a year, I'll pull the white things out and maybe let them soak in some detergent all by themselves and then kind of hand wash them, if you will, and then let them go through the dryer on their own just to kind of brighten them back up a little bit. But generally speaking, you really, truly don't need to do that. That may help if you're in that situation of I have to separate them. I don't have enough whites to do a load. I don't have enough this to do a load. If you can afford it, by all means, get extra clothes so that you can do that way if that's your preference. But if you can't, don't stress about it. Throw everything in there all together. Now, I will give you one caveat with that. If you just bought a brand new item that is red and you've never washed it before, wash that separately, all by itself the first time. Don't put anything in the wash with it, white or not, because you just don't know how that red dye is going to respond to being washed with detergent for the first time. It may just turn everything pink, and things that were already a different color might come out really funny looking. They might not even evenly turn pink. So red things, don't ever put that in. But as long as it's something you've washed it before, it's not a super bright dark color that's going to leach, don't worry about mixing all of your laundry together. All right, number 2. And those of you that know me in real life know we've already chatted about this in the last couple of weeks. Laundry detergent is absolutely necessary for modern washing machines. And let me even clarify that word modern. If it is a washing machine that has electricity, that's a modern washing machine. You must buy laundry detergent. You cannot use laundry soap. You cannot use laundry soda. You need to look very carefully at the labels on the products that you are buying, ordering, or thinking about buying, because by law, they can only put the word detergent on there if the ingredients are actually detergents. There are 3 different types of chemicals that can be used to make laundry products. 2 of them work, 1 of them doesn't, only 1 works in the machine. Laundry detergent is a long-chain organic compound that has been reacted with specific ionic salts so that simply by contact with the material, it rips off all of the fats, oils, dirt, bacteria, and simply by contact with water, it's instantly rinsed and washed away. That is detergent. You cannot make that from scratch at home. You don't have a giant chem lab with all the twirly glass pipes and boiler systems, giant blenders that work way differently. This is not your smoothie maker blender. Way differently than what you've got at home. You cannot make that from scratch. Now, you can order the individual ingredients from the back of the bottle of Tide and mix the ingredients together at home. But this is not on the order of I baked the cake from scratch. This is I bought Duncan Hines and baked it. You make sense a little bit? So that you can do. You can't make it. Laundry soap, category number 2. It can work if it's used properly. It cannot work in a laundry machine. Do not put soap in your machine. If you grated up a bar of soap, that's soap. Don't put it in your machine. You will destroy your machine. You will have your clothes have gunk and grime and build up on them. Laundry soap is just bar soap. Literally bar soap. It is a sodium hydroxide, should be sodium hydroxide. Some might use potassium hydroxide, but sodium hydroxide, which you might better know as lye, that has then been combined with the fat or oil either from an animal or from a plant to saponify it, create what we call as soap, maybe some fragrances and things added to it, but that in a nutshell is soap. Soap does not work the way detergent does. In order for soap to attach to the dirt and grime on the clothes, you have to physically scrub it in. Manual labor, high friction, pressure. Your washing machine, if you've ever accidentally opened it to stop it, does not do that. All it does, big drum, spins in a circle. There's no friction. There's no rubbing. There's no pressure. It's not cleaning your clothes. They may smell nice because the soap bubbled in the water a little bit, but they're not clean. What happens then as you rinse the soap off, maybe you've seen it in old videos or you've gone to places, pioneer villages where they do it. When they used to use actual soap to wash clothes, they didn't do it in the house in a machine. They did it in the backyard in a big bucket. They would put on a washboard. They would rub the clothes, right? Lots of friction up and down the washboard with the soap until it was nice and bubbly and looked clean. And then they'd transfer it to the second bucket. Well, then what did they do? See, everybody forgets the second step. Then they would take boiling water, literally boiling water, and dump it over the clothes. And they would take a stick and stir it around to get all of the soaps and oil residues off of the clothes before then they would pull it out and hang it on the line to dry. That is because soap does not wash away just by rinsing with water. You have to apply friction and very high heat in order to get the soap and the oils and the fats from the soap off of the object. If you've ever compared, do a quick test if you have both in your house. If I put dish detergent on my hands and then rinse it off versus I take a bar of soap and lather up my hands and try to rinse that off, in order to get my hands back to feeling smooth and dry, no silky, gooky residue on them, it's not the same process. Think now about what's happening to your clothes if you're using laundry soap in your washing machine. Those clothes are continually collecting that buildup in the fiber of the particles on the threads of the fabric. Over time, that dulls the colors. It also makes them start to stiffen and start to feel kind of oily, gunky. If you've been doing that for a while, I encourage you to do a quick test. Go out and get some normal detergent. Put some in a bucket, swish the clothes in there, some warm water, let them sit overnight. Rinse them out in the morning and see if you don't magically have a massive change in color. Suddenly much brighter than it was before. If that's the case, that's because that's how much soap buildup you've had on your clothes. Now, the third category actually does not work, so please beware and stay away from this completely. Laundry soda. This is so popular online. All of these recipes people will give for mix together these ingredients, and this is soap. It's super cheap, and the capitalist companies are just out to get you and convince you you can't make this at home and you can't do stuff unless you spend money on their products. Okay, A, laundry detergent's really cheap. But B, what is it that is actually in these washing sodas, these laundry sodas? Sodium bicarbonate, that's a salt. Not the kind you eat, but it's salt. Magnesium sulfate, salt. Washing soda, it's sodium carbonate. It comes from sodium bicarbonate being heated long enough. Salt. Every ingredient on that list is just salt. Salt doesn't sanitize things. Salt doesn't clean. Stay away from those. Sure, it'd be cheaper if I just rubbed salt all over my clothes, but I'm trying to clean my clothes, not to save money no matter the impact. So stay away from anything that just says soda on the label. It needs to say the word detergent. If they left it off, that's because they legally have to. It's not real. Same thing that goes for juice companies, ice cream companies. You guys know how that is. And so you want to make sure that you have a true laundry detergent. Now, those that know me, absolutely, there are some that are better than others. I will warn you, in the natural world, they do use different classes of detergents than in the mainstream commercial world, if you will. They tend to be a little more on the vegan, vegetarian, plant-based side. A lot of those chemicals, honest to goodness, they just don't work. Are they truly detergents? Yes, some of them are. But all detergents aren't equal, just like all oils aren't equal. You can say what you want, but certain oils you don't use for high heating because they can't stand it. Same thing goes for detergents. Just because it is a detergent, and just because it says natural on the label, just because it says non-toxic or makes wild claims about its abilities to clean clothes in certain ways that commercial things supposedly cannot, doesn't mean it actually works. So I caution you against that. But you do have some wisdom in avoiding some of the unnecessary chemicals. Now, a lot of the ingredients on the modern detergent labels, they actually are necessary chemicals. Things like enzymes. That's what actually attacks the biological material. So detergent alone isn't going to kill any bacteria, but the enzymes help. Things like surfactants. You actually need that. There's water softeners, especially if you live in a place that has hard water, it leaves any kind of mineral residue. You actually need that. So the things on the back of these labels aren't unnecessary chemicals. Just because you don't understand the chemistry doesn't mean it's bad. Most of them you need. You can, however, completely avoid dyes and fragrances. Now, on the dyes notes, you're not eating it. Toxicity is super low, but it's not necessary, right? I mean, who cares what color the laundry soap is? It's rinsing out at the end. So that's just not needed. Fragrances can cause migraines, can cause issues with allergies and things like that. Gonna kill you? Absolutely not. Not the end of the world. But if you have issues in those areas, then avoid them. Or someone in your house maybe is sensitive. So stay away from that. There are too many brands, mainstream, commercial, they actually work brands out there that leave those things out of some of their product lines for you to have to try and go to Trader Joe's or go to Whole Foods and buy some ridiculously expensive stuff that claims to be non-toxic and all natural, but then doesn't actually even work. Spare yourself the trouble, rest assured. Your free and clear mainstream brands are going to be just fine. All right, number 3, when you run your laundry machine, you want to fill the machine as high as you can without overloading your machine. Let's talk about money and water efficiency for a second. You could, even though you don't need to, run your laundry machine every single day. But if you don't need to, that's a bad idea. Because if you're just washing, maybe it's just you and a husband, you're washing 6 items, 8 items every single day. When you have enough clothes to go 5 days, that's really unwise. And the reason is the smaller the load you use in your wash machine, the less water efficient and energy efficient it is. So the machine time doesn't care how big the load is, right? I mean, look at your machine. Is there a different time setting depending on the load size? No. So you're using the exact same amount of electrical energy regardless of how big the load is. So might as well fill it up rather than do lots of small loads, do one big load. Half as much energy. Or if you can do one big load instead of 3 small loads, a third of the energy. Your power bill will thank you. The other thing is water efficiency. Modern machines are very, very efficient. If you still got a dinosaur one from 30 years ago, maybe not as much. But modern machines are very efficient as long as you use the right detergent for your machine. It's not going to use a ton of water, but it's even more efficient when the loads are larger. Please don't short it. You need the water. So you can't fill your machine to its max capacity and then choose the small water load. It's not going to work properly. So choose the right amount. It is already programmed to be efficient with large loads. All of that to say, don't automatically assume that you should do your laundry every day just because. Not a good idea to do it that way. If you can actually fill the machine every day, yes, do it. If you can't, then look and see what else to be done. All right, tip number 4. Your dryer has a lint trap. Some people have been raised not knowing that. You need to, before you do a single another load of laundry, for the safety of your home, find that lint trap. And you need to remove it and see what's in there. If you have forgotten about it or maybe didn't know it existed and never cleaned it, there's a lot of lint in there. It might not come free very easily. Every time you do a load of laundry, you need to clean out your lint trap. Now, can you get by with it if your loads are on a small size, maybe every other time? You can, but let me encourage you not to, and here's why. You are going to set yourself up into a habit like hitting the snooze on your alarm. Your habit is, there is a signal that's prompting me to do this activity, and I'm going to tell it, nope, I don't want to. Ignore. Just like when we are tripped up by our conscience that, oh, I shouldn't do that, and we press forward anyways. Eventually, we ignore signals that we didn't mean to ignore. Or when we push the snooze on our alarm and we shouldn't have this time, but it's our habit, so we just did it, and oops, we got late for that really important thing. Same thing happens here in the laundry room. If I develop a habit of, oh, I don't want to do the lint trap today, do you really remember the last time that you did it? Or are you accidentally hitting the point where it's maybe been 5, 6, 7 loads of laundry or a month and you haven't cleaned that? Don't do that. It's not hard. Every single time I put the clothes into the dryer before I turn it on, I just clean the lint trap out. That's what works for me because I'm right there in front of the machine and thinking about it, rather than me doing it when I'm getting clean clothes out of the dryer to fold and put away. So have a system where you do that every single time. And a bonus tip, it works really well. The lint trap in the dryer kind of acts like a microfiber cloth. I actually use it to dust the top of the washing machine and the dryer and the knobs. Use the lint to dust Now make sure, of course, that it's actually removing dust and not putting dust down, but it actually works for me. So then you've gone ahead and done a little bit of dusting as well. Throw it in the trash can immediately. All right, number 5. If you are like me and you have a lot going on in your household, you have maybe more than one floor of the household, and the laundry room is not on your main floor. Mine's not. You definitely want to utilize modern technology to help you remember to get the clothes from the washer to the dryer and from the dryer to the proper bedrooms and dressers. Set timers, set alarms. In our house, we have a smart device in the kitchen that the second that the clothes go into the washing machine, I know in my head, just from experience and past alarms, how long it takes for it to be completely done spinning. I don't want to walk up there when it's still spinning and then stand there for 5 minutes. So set it, 5-10 minutes after what you think. I set that alarm and I have it tell me to put the clothes in the dryer. I'm going to get caught up in baking bread. I'm caught up in, homeschooling the children, doing other things, and I'll forget otherwise. Same thing goes for once you put it in the dryer. Usually takes a little longer to dry the clothes than it does to wash them. So give yourself that hour, hour and a half. Set a timer so that you know to go get them whilst they are still warm from the dryer. Otherwise, they tend to wrinkle, and then you have this endless cycle of put something wet in there and spin the dryer again to get out the wrinkles because I don't want to iron all of that. Don't do that. Set an alarm so that you're up there and ready for those clothes the second that that dryer is finished. All right. As you do that, I want you to consider, this is all still under point number 5 here. When you are folding your clothes and hanging them up to put them away, as you fold them, put them in stacks based on what bedroom in the house or what room in the house they belong to. As you put them on hangers, don't stack all the hangers together. Put the hangers in separate stacks. Get some racks, put some little anchor hooks on the walls if you need to so that you can go, these are for the master bedroom, these are for kid bedroom number 1, kid bedroom number 2. These items go in the hall coat closet. This goes in, the kitchen towel collection. Put everything immediately as you're folding into stacks by room, hanging into stacks by room. And before you walk away to do something else, deliver each stack to the proper room. Now in our house, I'll just give you some ideas for routines, and you of course adjust accordingly. In our house, once I deliver the stacks to the proper rooms, the inhabitant of that room is now responsible to put it away. We have a designated place, not like I went out and bought a bucket for laundry, but there is a spot, like I'm always going to stick the clothes right here beneath your light switch on the floor. If you look as you leave the room and you look down under the light switch and oh, there's clothes there, don't walk out that room. Put those away right now, and then you can walk out the room. For me, anything that I am responsible for, unless I have an appointment that I have made with someone, like a doctor appointment, a dental appointment, I need to be at church or something like that, I marched my little behindo around the house and I put away all my stacks right then and there. It is not good, though we joke about it in memes online, for the clothes to sit in the basket until we do tomorrow's laundry. And then I have a basket full of clothes. We got to empty it so that I can use it for the new clothes. That's not you taking dominion over your laundry. That's you letting your laundry have dominion over you. Don't do that. Put it away immediately. Get that laundry basket nice and empty, stuck right back in the room so that it is ready for the next day's laundry. So just some tips. Obviously, like I said, appointments and things that you can't avoid, schedules being a little tight. If it's not a regular pattern, those things happen. That's okay. You can get to it when you come back, at least when you return, right? It's in stacks in the proper rooms. So you walk into the bedroom and you go, oh, there's that stack. Now I'm home. Let me go ahead and put that away. You walk into the kitchen and there it is on the table. Oh, let me go ahead and grab that and put it away now. See how much easier it is? It's not this daunting mental game where there's a basket full of stuff that has to be sorted to the proper room, has to be delivered perhaps upstairs, down hallways to different rooms, right? That's a big task. Do it efficiently at the beginning, and then it doesn't feel like a big deal as you complete the task. All right, tip number 6. I want you to just consider how we're using your dryer. And let's be a little bit wise about the dryer use. It is an incredible modern convenience. It allows us to get our clothes dry no matter the weather outside, or perhaps the amount of birds we have that like to sit on the line and add dirty things to the clothes as they dry. However, it does have some drawbacks, and we just need to be aware of that. Why does your dryer produce lint every time you run a clothes load? Think about that for a minute. What is lint? Where is it coming from? Every time your items go through the dryer, you have lost some of the fabric and material. The wash machine does not do that. Only the dryer does. So you need to consider the lifespan of your clothes, of your blankets, of your towels, as you're continually washing and drying them in a dryer machine. Now, I'm not saying you need, have to go out and buy a clothesline and use that outside. But you might consider, are there alternative ways of drying some items so that they last longer? The higher the heat, the quicker the degradation of the clothes. So run it on some smaller amounts of heat. Maybe you can dry it part of the way in the dryer, and once it's not dripping anymore, maybe you can fit a line or a rack or a stand inside the house to let it finish drying there. Just think about that in terms of longevity of your clothes. Now, I'll be first to admit I absolutely use my dryer every single load of laundry. However, there are some things I never put in my dryer. And maybe you didn't know about this, so let me just let you know. Anything that is polyester, spandex, nylon, silky should never go in the dryer. Now, if you accidentally do it once or twice, you might be okay. But those items are actually almost dry when they come out the washer in the first place. They're very water resistant. And they are also not heat resistant. They are made from plastic. Polyester, nylon, spandex, these are plastics. These are not natural fibers. So the heat of the dryer combined with them being plastic, right? We've had this conversation before. Not a fantastic combination. They don't need to be dried, so let's not use convenience as an excuse. Go ahead and put those things directly on hangers and let them kind of finish drying. It won't take long. Finish drying on those hangers, and that's going to make sure that those items last longer, and they didn't need to be in the dryer anyways. All right, number 7, my last one. You need to be cleaning your washing machine. I know, you didn't want me to say it, did you? It needs to be physically cleaned, not just the outside of it, not just the inside of the lid and the nooks and crannies around the lid. The actual drum needs to be cleaned. I will definitely give a shout out to those little tablets that you can buy. You cannot DIY this. Buying the little dishwasher cleaning tablets, so you can kind of throw that in there. That does a good job of cleaning out a lot of molds and bacteria and things that would kind of grow and collect. Another thing that will help this job be easier is once you have run the wash machine, leave the lid open so that it is completely dry in there. Now, that may mean that you need to keep the door to the laundry area closed so that little ones don't get curious and get in there. But in our house, the laundry lid is always open. Minus the 30 minutes a day when the wash machine is running, it's always open. But even still, you've got to clean down inside there. So there's a lot of gaskets and things, and I won't go into details, but the same things about cleaning a dishwasher would be true of cleaning a laundry machine as well. Simple, microfiber cloth, teensy bit of water, getting all of any dust, residues. You will need to look up the manual for your particular laundry machine to see what is supposed to be taken out or taken apart for cleaning. There are instruction books that come with these. They are often digital nowadays, which I actually don't like because having the physical book reminds me to read it and at least log in my memory for the future how this thing works and how it's supposed to go. So you are going to have to go online and you're going to have to look up your machine and see what the cleaning protocol is for your machine. And you may realize that you've never done it before and you've had this machine for, too many years. It's not going to be easy the first time, but you're going to have much cleaner clothes, much better longevity out of your machine as a result. So those are my 7 tips for taking care of laundry and cleaning our homes. Last, as promised, what if you are in survival mode? Well, I'll first tell you from experience, people still have to have clean clothes to wear. This is the one exception to the, if I know I can make it 4 days without doing laundry, we're going to make it 4 days without doing laundry, in the hopes that by the 4th day, I'm maybe a little less in survival mode and a little more able to tackle what now is 2 or 3 loads of laundry instead of 4. However, if it is within your capability or something that you can delegate maybe to others in the home to get the laundry into the wash machine, throw in the soap and run it, at least wash the clothes, get them into the dryer, and have them be dry. As long as they're clean, we can wear them out the dryer. Now that's not ideal. So we're talking it is very dire. And you know that this is not going to be great because people are going to be wearing wrinkly clothes. And let's be honest, that doesn't look good. It looks like we're not taking care of ourselves and we don't care about the people in our homes. So we don't want to do that. If you can manage it, this is what happens in our house. Schedules are super tight, maybe relatives coming in from out of town, maybe you're headed out of town, something like that. A load just went through the washer and dryer. We've got to do something with it. We don't want it to be wrinkly, but we just haven't got the capacity to go through the whole rigmarole of sorting and folding and putting on hangers. Lay everything flat in a stack. So every single thing, no matter what it is, no matter what room it goes to, in a nice, neat, flat stack. Somebody's going to have to go through that stack eventually. So if you can at least categorize the stacks by room, that would help. But at least if it's flat, it won't be wrinkled. And you didn't have to actually fold anything, you just flattened everything. So those are some things that have worked for us in various stages of being in survival mode, of having young children having to help us with things, short-term situations, of course, post-childbirth and such of those types of situations. But that's some survival things. As long as it's clean, you can wear it out the dryer, it's okay. Looks great? No. If you can get it in flat stacks, hey, now it looks great. Nobody knows it was in a flat stack. But let's not let that be the pattern of our lives. Make sure that you truly are in survival mode if we are going to go that route. Otherwise, let's follow the 7 steps. Let's be orderly and make sure that our laundry is done well so that our family has clean clothes to wear. We look and smell nice so that we can then involve ourselves with the community, with our churches, with our family, with extended family, and are a joy to be around and to see rather than the opposite. Until next time.